Alright folks, hello again, welcome back to my channel, and may I take this opportunity to wish you all a very happy and prosperous new year. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you might have noticed a lack of content on the channel in the build up to Christmas, and the reality of that was I was just extremely busy in here. Now, since I made the leap of faith to make this my full-time thing, if you like, I have to balance the concept of content creating with also being a maker as well, in addition to managing my conditions. So the run-up, thankfully, to Christmas was a lot of repeat customers, a lot of bespoke orders, and I was extremely busy in here, hence the lack of content being created on long-form YouTube. However, as I'm starting the new year, I have multiple ideas I would like to address, and I would like to start by appealing to the hive mind and asking for your advice and help in regards to this. My Axminster AC82E Craft chip extractor, dust extractor. I never know how to explain these properly, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to call it a chip extractor, which is the HVLP, high volume, low pressure. Always get those two confused. Now, I purchased this, I think, about 3 or 4 years ago, and its primary purpose is to work with my planer thicknesser, my bandsaw, the drum sander, and also I have it on the router table as well as one of 2 dust extractors on that. And it has been a real workhorse in here. You know, it's never skipped a beat, it's never caused any issues with me. It has the optional extra cartridge filter on the top to help filter out those nasty tiny particles. And as I say, it's worked well. However, I have reached the stage where I need to upgrade this, and for those reasons I will explain now. Now, if you're in a position where you might be able to offer me some help and advice what I could upgrade to from this, let me just deal with some of the specs of the Axminster AC82E Craft, which is now workshop chip extractor. Now, it has an 1100 watt 1.5 horsepower motor. Now, the airflow which you read in the manual can be a little bit misleading, I believe. It's kind of like the car companies that claim your car can do 80 miles per gallon when the reality is something like 28 to 30. So in the manual it says it has 1,530 meters cubed per hour airflow, which according to an online calculator I googled is about 900 CFM, if that makes sense. But the reality can be somewhat different and maybe around and about half of that. Now, here are the issues I have with the current model. The first main problem is it lacks power. It doesn't have enough suction or airflow, particularly with a planer thicknesser, to remove the chips to a satisfactory level, shall I say. Now, it is only Axminster's entry range, the craft or the workshop range it's called now. So obviously in the professional range or with other manufacturers, I'll be looking for my chip extractor to have more power. Secondly, there's a bit of a bottleneck here. So when the chips are being extracted into the machine, when using particularly denser hardwoods, it can frequently clog up in this part here. So I'm constantly having to remove the hose, clear the chips out, refit it again, start again, and it can be quite frustrating. So maybe the new model that I'm going to be looking for should have one of those Cyclones, which would probably help eliminate this. And thirdly and finally is the most frustrating thing of the lot, and that's why this in particular has got to go. It's the bag. Now, I have posted on my social media about changing bags on this, and it can be a very frustrating, I think I described it as my least favourite job in the workshop. Now, I know there's workarounds and I use magnets to try and get the bag in place when I'm latching it on and stuff, but as a one-handed woodworker, it is infuriating changing this bag. It really frustrates me, annoys me, infuriates me, whatever you want to call it. And particularly when I am working with a lot of reclaimed materials now. My main source of wood is, you know, working with reclaimed stuff you can see around me. I do a lot of planing, thicknessing, jointing, planing for our friends over the pond. So this bag fills up pretty quickly. As for example, yesterday I had to change it 3 times, and that is a time drain for me, if that makes sense. So I have a wish list for what I would like to have in my new chip extractor, which I just want to deal with you now. So first and foremost, I'm after a new chip extractor that has a more powerful motor, thus having a higher rate of airflow. It's not going to be connected to any ducting system, so the actual pipe maximum probably going to be about 2 or 3 meters long. I would like a chip extractor that has got a Cyclone system fitted into it. I'm not particularly keen on buying parts and creating my own. I just probably would like one box with everything in to assemble and ready to go. That's just my personal preference. The other thing I would say is a non-negotiable is not having a bag system like this. And I've noticed, just kind of scanning the internet, you can get ones that have like that wheelie bin system. So it's got a metal bin that's just like a pulley, pulls down, and you can remove the chips, empty it into the bin or into your compost, and then bring it back, fit it back in, and all good to go again. That is, I probably would say, a non-negotiable. I really would like one of those to have fitted. In regards to power, I would prefer it if it's got a UK 3-pin socket, which is 230 volt, 240 volt, because I've only got one 16 amp socket in the workshop, so that deals with the planer thicknesser and the bandsaw. So if I was to get a model that had a 16 amp socket, I would have to get the electrician in to get another one of those fitted, and it's probably a route I don't want to go down. Let's just have a look at the space in which I've got to fit it. Right, the drum sander is currently in the way, but the space that is going to be installed is around this area. So to give you some approximate dimensions, it's about 2.1 meters high, which is about 7 foot. It is roughly about 1.1 meters across, which is about 3.5 foot, and about 70 centimeters deep, which is about 28 inches. Now, I could obviously move some of the bits and pieces around, so I don't particularly want to go much bigger so it's completely taking over the workshop, but there's a little bit of room to maneuver in those dimensions. And finally, I almost forgot, budget wise, how much am I prepared to spend on this? Well, for the right model, so something that fulfills all of those criteria I've just mentioned, I'm willing to go up to and around £1,500. Now, what I've always loved about this channel, hence me creating this video, is the help, support, advice that I've received from you guys over, I think it's nearly 6 years now. And I'd like to put this over to you. I'm after kind of real world experiences. I'm a little bit hesitant with things like online reviews. Maybe that's just a little bit of a cynic in me somewhere, but I love to hear about people who've had real world experiences, things that have worked well for them, things that they would avoid and maybe not buy again, or something they've purchased and gone, yeah, that's absolutely spot on, and that will fulfill all of those requirements you have. So it's over to you guys. You know, I'm appealing to the hive mind. I'm after your help, I'm after your support, I'm after your advice. Is there anything out there that you would say you would definitely recommend for me? It's on budget, it fulfills all of those criteria, and I will get many years use out of it. Let me know what you think in the comments, or you can reach out to me via any of my social media. Start of the new year, and I've got some resolutions, and one is to always thank people at the end. And if you enjoyed any of this content, would you consider liking or even maybe subscribing to the channel and following me on my disability woodworking adventures? Okay, as ever folks, take care and look after yourselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.